Mina stood quietly outside the big house. The house was very large and shiny. It had many windows and a tall gate. Mina took a deep breath and looked up at the sky. She felt a mix of hope and fear. Today was her first day working as a maid in this huge home. It was a new beginning for her. Mina came from a small village far away. Her life was never easy. She had lost her parents when she was young. Since then, she worked hard to survive. She cleaned houses and did small jobs. But this job was different. Working for Mr. Robert, the billionaire, was a chance to change her life. The gate opened, and a man came out. He was tall and wore a clean suit. His hair was gray but neat. He looked serious but kind. This was Robert, the owner of the house. He smiled a little when he saw Mina. "Good morning," Robert said softly. "You must be Mina." "Welcome." Mina smiled shyly. "Good morning, sir." "Thank you. I am happy to work here." Robert nodded and motioned toward the door. "Come inside. I will show you around." Mina stepped into the house. The floor was shiny and cold under her feet. The walls were painted white, and there were many paintings of people and nature. The furniture was very expensive and old. Everything was very clean but also quiet. It felt like a different world from the village where Mina grew up. Robert showed Mina the rooms she would clean and the kitchen where she would help. Mina listened carefully and nodded. She wanted to do her best. "You can ask if you need help," Robert said. "We expect good work, but I know you will learn fast." Mina thanked him again. She felt a little more confident. After Robert left, Mina started her work. She swept the floors and dusted the tables. She cleaned the windows and arranged the flowers. As she worked, she looked around the house. She wanted to understand the place where she would spend many hours. In the afternoon, a woman came into the house. She was tall and wore a beautiful dress. Her hair was long and black. She smiled, but there was something strange in her eyes. This was Elena, Robert's wife. "Hello, Mina," Elena said with a calm voice. "I hope you will do well here." Mina nodded. "Thank you, ma'am. I will work hard." Elena looked at Mina closely but did not say more. She turned and left quickly. Mina felt a little cold. Elena's smile did not feel warm. Days passed, and Mina learned more about the house and the people who lived in it. Robert was kind but always busy. He spent many hours in his office, looking at papers and making phone calls. Mina saw how tired he looked, but he never complained. Elena was different. She stayed in her own world, often in her room or in the garden. Sometimes, Mina heard her talking on the phone, her voice low and serious. Other times, Elena would come to the kitchen and ask questions about the house or the staff, but her questions felt like tests, not friendly talks. Mina noticed something strange. The house was full of silence and secrets. Even the staff seemed nervous. The cook and the driver spoke little. The gardener avoided eye contact. It was like everyone was waiting for something to happen but did not know what. One evening, Mina was cleaning the study. The room was large, with many books and a big desk. She heard voices behind a closed door. She stopped and listened carefully. It was Elena and another man, her husband, Robert. But their voices were not calm. They were talking in low, angry whispers. Mina could not hear all the words, but some phrases made her heart beat fast. "You promised me, the money, the plan must work, no mistakes," Mina's mind raced. What plan? What money? Why was Elena angry with Robert? She wanted to open the door and ask, but fear stopped her. She was just a maid. What if they found out she was listening? Would she lose her job or worse? Mina decided to keep silent for now. She would watch and listen, but not speak. Something was wrong in this house, and she had to be careful. That night, Mina lay on her small bed in the servants' room. She thought about the voices and the strange tension she felt in the house. She wondered about Robert and Elena's marriage. Was it really happy? Or was it only for show? Mina remembered her own life, how people sometimes hide pain behind smiles. She felt sad for Robert, even though she barely knew him. He seemed like a good man who did not deserve trouble. The next morning, Mina woke up early. She went to work quietly, but her eyes were open in a new way. She wanted to protect this house, even if she was only a maid. She wanted to find the truth. As she cleaned the big house, Mina promised herself, no matter what happened, she would be strong. She would not talk carelessly. She would watch, listen, and wait for the right moment. This was more than a job now. It was a secret. And Mina was ready to keep it. The days passed slowly for Mina, but each one brought her closer to the truth hidden inside the mansion. She continued her work with care, cleaning every corner, arranging the rooms, and watching silently. She had learned one thing: in this house, nothing was as simple as it seemed. One evening, as the sun began to set and painted the sky orange, Mina found herself cleaning near the back of the house. The study was quiet now, and the soft ticking of a clock filled the room. Mina was dusting the shelves when she heard the faint sound of voices coming from behind a heavy wooden door. Her heart quickened. She recognized the voices: Elena and Robert. She stopped moving and held her breath. The door was slightly open. Mina's eyes widened, but she did not move closer. Instead, she listened carefully. "You can't keep hiding it, Elena. If anyone finds out, everything will be lost," Robert said softly but firmly. Elena's voice was sharp and angry. "I told you to trust me. I am the only one who can fix this. Robert, you are too slow. The others are watching. We must act now." Mina's mind spun. What was it? Who were the others? What did Elena want to fix? Robert's voice shook a little. "But what if it goes wrong? What about the risks? We could lose everything, Elena." A cold laugh came from Elena. "You worry too much. You never see the bigger picture. This is the only way. You must let me handle it." Mina felt a chill run down her spine. The voices stopped, and footsteps moved away. She quickly stepped back and closed the door. Her hands were trembling. She knew she had to be careful. If Elena was involved in something dangerous, Mina could not say a word. No one would believe a maid. But she could not ignore what she heard. Robert was worried, and Elena was planning something secret and maybe bad. For the next few days, Mina watched Elena more closely. Elena was always busy on the phone, in meetings, or writing letters. She wore a mask of calm, but there was fire in her eyes. One afternoon, Mina saw Elena in the garden, speaking quietly to a stranger. The man looked serious and wore a dark suit. They exchanged papers quickly. Mina could not hear their words, but the tension was clear. Mina wondered who the man was and what the papers meant. Were they part of Elena's plan? She wished she could ask Robert, but she was afraid he might not believe her or, worse, he could get hurt. Meanwhile, Robert's health seemed to get worse. Mina noticed dark circles under his eyes. Sometimes, he sat alone in the study, staring at the papers in front of him without reading. Once, Mina saw him drop his pen and close his eyes as if he was very tired. Mina wanted to help, but she did not know how. She felt small and powerless in the big house, but her heart was full of hope. She wanted to save Robert from the danger she felt coming. One rainy evening, Mina was cleaning the hallway near Elena's room when she heard a strange noise, soft crying. She paused, unsure if she should listen or walk away. The crying stopped suddenly, and Mina waited. After a few moments, the door opened a little. Elena stepped out, her face wet with tears but her expression hard. She did not see Mina. She walked quickly down the hall and disappeared. Mina was confused. Was Elena sad or scared? Could she be unhappy in her life too? The woman who seemed so strong might be hiding pain. That night, Mina could not sleep. She sat by the small window in the servants' room and looked at the stars. She thought about all the secrets in the mansion and the strange distance between Robert and Elena. Suddenly, there was a soft knock at the door. Mina's heart jumped. She opened it slowly, and a young boy stepped inside. It was David, Robert's nephew, who lived with them. David whispered, "Mina, I need to tell you something, but you must promise not to say a word." Mina nodded. She was surprised but curious. "What is it, David?" He looked around nervously and said, "I heard my uncle and aunt talking last night. They are fighting over money. Aunt Elena wants to take everything from Uncle Robert. She says she will make him disappear from the company." Mina's eyes grew wide. "Disappear? What do you mean?" David looked scared. "I don't know, but it sounds bad. Uncle Robert is kind. He doesn't deserve this. I think Elena is planning something bad." Mina held David's hand gently. "Thank you for telling me. We must be careful." David nodded. "Please, don't tell anyone. If Aunt Elena finds out, she will be angry." Mina felt a new responsibility. She was no longer just a maid. She was a guardian of a secret that could change everything. Over the next days, Mina and David watched the house quietly. They noticed how Elena's visits with the stranger increased. They heard whispers about money and power. But Robert remained calm on the outside, trusting no one but Mina. One afternoon, Mina found a small, folded paper under a book in the library. She opened it carefully. It was a note written in Elena's handwriting. "Tomorrow, the plan will start. No mistakes. The fortune will be mine. He will not see it coming." Mina's hands shook. She folded the paper and hid it in her pocket. This was proof of Elena's scheme. Mina knew she could no longer stay silent. She had to find a way to protect Robert, but she also knew it would not be easy. Elena was powerful and dangerous. That night, Mina prayed quietly. She wished for strength and courage. She wished for a way to save the man who trusted her. Mina understood one thing very clearly: the house was full of lies, and the truth was hidden in shadows. But she would not stop. She would watch, listen, and wait for the right moment to act. And no matter what happened, Mina promised herself one thing: she would not talk carelessly. Sometimes, silence was the strongest shield. The house seemed colder now, even though the sun shone brightly outside. Mina felt the weight of the secret growing heavier in her heart. Every step she took inside the mansion reminded her of the dangerous truth she had uncovered. Mina kept the note hidden safely in her room. She read it many times, each time feeling more afraid but also more determined. Elena's plan to take Robert's fortune was real. Mina had to find a way to protect him without putting herself in danger. Days passed, and Mina became more careful. She watched Elena closely, but the woman's smile never faded. Elena was always polite to Mina's face, but there was coldness in her eyes that made Mina shiver. One afternoon, Mina was in the kitchen, preparing tea for Robert, when the door opened quietly. Robert stepped in, looking tired but polite as always. "Thank you, Mina," he said softly, taking the cup. "You work very hard." Mina smiled shyly. "I want to do my best, sir." Robert's eyes seemed to look right through her for a moment. "Mina, can I ask you something? Do you ever see or hear anything strange in this house?" Mina's heart jumped. Could he know? She thought carefully before answering. "Sometimes, sir," she said slowly. "But I do not understand everything." Robert nodded. "I trust you, Mina. You are honest and loyal. Please, if you ever find something, tell me." Mina wanted to tell him everything, but fear held her back. "I will be careful, sir," she promised. Robert smiled faintly and left the kitchen. Mina felt a small hope inside her. Maybe Robert would believe her if she could find more proof. That night, Mina stayed up late, thinking. She remembered the secret meeting she had seen in the garden between Elena and the stranger. She wondered who the man was and what his role might be. The next day, Mina decided to watch more closely. She waited near the garden and saw Elena again, meeting the same man. This time, the man handed Elena a small envelope. She opened it quickly and looked inside. Mina's eyes narrowed. She had to find out what was in that envelope. Mina knew she needed help, but she could not tell anyone. The other staff were too afraid to get involved. She thought of David, the young boy who had also heard the rumors. He was brave for his age, and Mina trusted him. That evening, Mina spoke quietly with David in the servants' room. "We must watch Elena carefully," Mina said. "We need to find proof of her plan." David nodded. "I am scared, but I will help." Together, they made a plan. During the day, Mina would keep an eye on Elena's meetings. David would listen for any strange talks among the servants or visitors. As the days passed, Mina's courage grew. She learned to move quietly, to listen without being seen. Every piece of information was important. One afternoon, while cleaning Elena's room, Mina found a small locked box hidden in the wardrobe. She did not open it, but she remembered where it was. She hoped it held more evidence. Mina also noticed that Elena had been acting more nervous. She was no longer calm and controlled. Sometimes, Elena would stare out of the window for a long time, biting her lips. One evening, Mina overheard Elena talking on the phone again. This time, her voice was almost a whisper. "The time is near," Elena said. "We must move quickly. He trusts no one but her. We must stop Mina before she tells Robert." Mina's breath caught in her throat. Elena knew Mina was watching. The danger was closer than ever. That night, Mina sat alone in her small room. She felt afraid but also strong. She had a choice: stay silent and safe or speak up and risk everything. Mina thought about Robert. He was a good man, honest and kind. He did not deserve to be hurt by the people he trusted. Mina's thoughts went to her own past: the struggles, the loneliness, and the hard work. She had survived because she was strong and careful. Now, she had a new reason to be brave. The next morning, Mina decided to be more careful but also more ready. She needed to protect Robert in silence, but she also needed to prepare for the moment when she could tell him the truth. At breakfast, Robert looked tired again. Mina noticed his hands shaking slightly as he poured his tea. She felt a sharp pain in her heart. "Sir," Mina said softly, "please take care of yourself. You work too hard." Robert smiled weakly. "Thank you, Mina. I will try." Mina watched him closely. She knew time was running out. As the day went on, Mina moved through the house like a shadow. She avoided Elena's sight but kept her eyes open for any sign of danger. In the afternoon, Mina found an opportunity. Elena left her room in a hurry and forgot the locked box in the wardrobe open. Mina's heart beat fast. She quickly stepped inside and saw the box full of papers. Mina took a deep breath and opened the box. Inside were letters, contracts, and plans, all written in Elena's handwriting. There were details about money transfers, secret meetings, and even threats against Robert's company. Mina took a few papers carefully and hid them in her apron. She knew this was the proof Robert needed. That night, Mina stayed awake, thinking about what to do next. She wanted to tell Robert but knew she had to be sure of her safety and his. She remembered his words, "If you ever find something, tell me." Mina hoped it was true. Before sleeping, Mina whispered to herself, "I will protect you, sir. I will keep your secret and fight in silence." The house was still, but inside Mina's heart, a quiet storm was growing. A storm of courage, hope, and trust. Mina was no longer just a maid. She was a guardian of truth. And her silence was her strength. The next morning, Mina woke up early, her heart still heavy with the weight of the secret she now carried. The papers she had found in Elena's locked box were more than just proof, they were a hidden message, a warning that danger was closer than she had thought. She carefully folded the letters and slipped them inside her small pocket. She knew she could not leave the house with them or show them to anyone else, not yet. Elena was watching, and Mina had no idea who she could trust. Mina went about her duties as usual, but her mind was far away, turning over every word and every detail she had read. Elena's handwriting was neat but cold. The plans spoke of money being taken from Robert's company and secret meetings with powerful people outside the house. Some of the letters even mentioned a name Mina had never heard before, a man called Mr. Dawson. Who was Mr. Dawson? Mina wondered. And what part did he play in Elena's plan? Mina knew she had to find out more, but she had to be careful. The house was full of eyes and ears. Every step, every word, could be watched and recorded. If Elena or her allies suspected Mina was hiding something, the consequences could be terrible. That afternoon, Mina decided to take a small risk. She waited until Elena left the house to visit the city. Elena was always busy with business meetings, and sometimes she traveled for days. This was Mina's chance. Mina quietly entered Elena's private room. It was large and beautifully decorated. A soft scent of flowers filled the air. Mina looked around carefully and found a small diary hidden inside a drawer. Her hands trembled as she opened it. The diary was filled with Elena's personal notes, her thoughts, plans, and fears. Mina read slowly, her eyes widening with each page. Elena wrote about feeling trapped in the marriage, about needing money and power to escape. She wrote about Mr. Dawson and how he promised to help her. But the last pages were darker. Elena was afraid that Robert might discover her plans and ruin everything. Mina closed the diary and looked around nervously. She did not want to be caught, but she knew this diary was important. It was a key to understanding Elena's true intentions. Just then, she heard footsteps outside the door. Mina quickly hid the diary in her apron and stepped out of the room, acting calm. The cook appeared in the hallway, smiling kindly. "Mina, are you okay? You look tired." Mina smiled back. "I am fine, thank you." The cook nodded and walked away. Mina's heart pounded. She had to be careful from now on. Even the friendly faces could hide secrets. That evening, Mina found Robert alone in the study. He looked more tired than ever. Mina took a deep breath and decided to say something. "Sir," Mina said softly, "I found some papers and a diary that belong to Elena. They show her plans to take your money and hurt your company." Robert's eyes grew wide with surprise. "Are you sure, Mina? This is serious." "I am sure, sir," Mina replied. "But we must be careful. Elena is dangerous. She has allies, and she watches us." Robert nodded slowly. "Thank you for telling me. I will handle this carefully. You have done a great service." Mina felt relief. For the first time, Robert knew the truth. She hoped this would help him stay safe. But Robert also warned her. "Mina, you must stay quiet. We cannot let Elena know that we have proof. For now, trust in silence is the best way." Mina promised. "I will not say a word, sir." Days went by, and the house felt like a quiet battlefield. Mina and Robert worked together in secret. They planned how to protect the company and find out more about Mr. Dawson. Mina's courage grew stronger. She knew she was risking everything, but she believed in justice. She wanted to save Robert not just for the money or power, but because he was a good man. One afternoon, Mina was cleaning the garden when she saw a stranger arrive. He was tall and wore a dark coat. Mina felt a chill. Could this be Mr. Dawson? The man spoke to the gardener briefly and then entered the house. Mina followed quietly from a distance. She wanted to know who he was and what he wanted. Inside, the man met Elena in the sitting room. Their conversation was low and secretive. Mina could not hear much, but she saw the man hand Elena a small envelope. Elena smiled, but there was fear in her eyes. Mina understood now the plan was moving forward. That night, Mina sat by her window and looked at the stars. She thought about the hidden messages, the secret meetings, and the danger ahead. But she also thought about hope. Hope that truth and courage could win against lies and betrayal. Mina whispered to the night, "I will protect this house. I will protect you, sir. No matter what." Her heart was strong, and her silence was loud. The days felt heavier in the big house. Mina moved silently like a shadow, always alert, watching, listening. She knew the danger was near, but she was not afraid. Her heart was full of quiet courage. Robert trusted her now. He often spoke in low voices about the next steps to protect the company. Mina helped him as much as she could without being seen. She understood that their fight was not just for money, but for truth and justice. One morning, Robert called Mina into his office. The room smelled of old books and fresh coffee. He looked tired but determined. "Mina," Robert said softly, "we must be very careful. Elena's plan is dangerous, but we have the proof. I want you to stay close and help me watch." Mina nodded. "I will do everything I can, sir." Robert smiled faintly. "You are brave." "Thank you." Mina felt proud but worried. She wanted to protect Robert from all harm. That day, Mina cleaned the rooms carefully but kept her eyes open. She noticed Elena was quieter than usual. The cold smile was gone. Instead, there was worry in her eyes. Mina's mind raced. What was Elena planning next? In the afternoon, Mina saw Elena talking on the phone again. This time, her voice was urgent. No mistakes, she said. Everything must be ready soon. He cannot stop us. Mina's heart beat fast. The danger was closer than ever. Later, Mina met David secretly in the garden. The boy's face was serious. Did you hear anything new? Mina asked. David shook his head. Not much, but I saw the stranger again. He is always with Elena. Mina sighed. We must be careful. We cannot let Elena know we are watching. David nodded. I will help. We must protect Uncle Robert. Mina smiled at the boy's courage. Together, they felt stronger. That night, Mina heard a noise outside her room. She looked through the small window and saw a man moving near the garden. It was the stranger, the one she thought was Mr. Dawson. Mina's heart raced. She knew she had to tell Robert. Quietly, she went to the study. Robert was still working. Sir, Mina whispered, the stranger is outside. He might be dangerous. Robert stood up quickly. Thank you, Mina. We must be ready. They locked the doors and windows. The house felt tense, like a storm waiting to break. Suddenly, the doorbell rang loudly. Mina's heart jumped. Robert looked at her. Stay here. I will check. He opened the door carefully. The stranger stood outside, calm and smiling. Good evening, Mr. Robert, the man said. I am here to talk. There is no need for fear. Robert's eyes narrowed. What do you want? The stranger's smile disappeared. I want to make a deal. Elena's plan is dangerous for everyone. We can stop this if you agree. Robert looked confused. Who are you? My name is Daniel Dawson, the man said. I am Elena's partner, but I do not want to harm you. I want to help. Mina watched from the study. Could Daniel be trusted? Robert spoke again. If you want to help, tell me everything. Daniel nodded. Elena and I plan to take control of your company, but things have changed. She wants to move faster, and I fear for her decisions. Robert listened carefully. What do you suggest? Daniel said, we must stop Elena before she causes real harm. I will give you the proof you need. Mina felt hope. Maybe help was here. The next day, Daniel came inside the house. He gave Robert papers showing Elena's secret meetings and plans. The proof was clear. Robert thanked Daniel quietly. You have done the right thing. But Mina saw a shadow in Daniel's eyes, a warning that this was not over. That night, Elena returned. She was angry and shocked to see Daniel with Robert. You betrayed me. Elena shouted. You will pay for this. Daniel stood firm. I choose to protect Robert. Your plan is too dangerous. Elena's eyes burned with fury. This is not finished. Mina felt the tension rise. The house was no longer just a place to live. It was a battlefield of secrets and courage. Robert spoke calmly. Elena, this ends now. We will protect the company and the truth. Elena laughed bitterly. You think you can stop me? You are all weak. Mina stepped forward, her voice steady. No one is weak here. We fight with truth and courage. Elena looked at Mina with surprise. A maid speaks? How bold. Mina met her gaze. I am not just a maid. I am someone who cares. And I will protect this house and the people in it. The room was silent. Robert nodded proudly at Mina. You are brave, Mina. Thank you. Elena left the room, but her anger did not fade. Mina knew the fight was not over, but she felt stronger. She had found her voice, not in loud words, but in quiet courage. That night, Mina sat by the window again, looking at the stars. She whispered, no matter what comes, I will stand strong. I will protect the truth. And in the stillness of the night, her heart was full of hope. The days following Elena's angry departure were quiet, but the tension in the house did not disappear. Mina noticed that Elena stayed in her room more than usual, and her visits to the city stopped. It was as if she was waiting, planning her next move. Mina, Robert, and Daniel met quietly in the study every evening. Daniel's help was important now. He knew more about Elena's plans and the people she had contacted. He warned them that Elena was dangerous but also afraid. She is smart and strong, Daniel said one night. But she is losing control. If we act carefully, we can stop her for good. Robert nodded. We must protect the company and keep everyone safe. Mina listened closely. She was learning that bravery came in many forms: watching, waiting, speaking at the right moment. One morning, Mina was cleaning the hall near Elena's room when she heard soft crying. She stopped, unsure what to do. The door was slightly open, and inside, Elena was sitting on a chair, her face wet with tears. Mina felt a strange mix of emotions. She wanted to hate Elena for what she had done, but now she saw a different side: a woman full of pain and fear. Elena looked up and saw Mina. Why are you here? She asked quietly. Mina stepped back but did not run. I heard you crying. Is there something wrong? Elena's eyes filled with tears again. I made mistakes, she said softly. I wanted power and money, but I lost my way. Mina listened silently. For a moment, the house felt softer, less like a battlefield. Can things change? Elena asked. Mina thought carefully. Yes, if you are honest and willing to fix what you broke. Elena nodded slowly. I don't know if I can, but I want to try. Mina left the room quietly. She did not know what to think, but a small hope grew inside her. That day, Mina told Robert and Daniel about what she had seen. Robert was surprised but said, people can change if they want. But we must be careful. Daniel agreed. Trust is hard to earn again, but it is possible. Days passed, and Mina continued her work, always watching. Elena stayed in her room more but was less angry. Mina hoped the hard path might lead to peace. One afternoon, Robert called Mina to the study. He looked more hopeful. Mina, he said, I have decided to give Elena a chance to explain herself. If she is honest, we will find a way forward. Mina nodded. That is brave, sir. Together, they planned a meeting with Elena. It would be the first time they spoke openly since everything had started. The day of the meeting came. Mina helped prepare the room. The air was heavy with nervous energy. Elena arrived, her eyes downcast but steady. She spoke first. I want to say I am sorry for everything. I was wrong to plan against you, Robert. Robert listened quietly. Thank you for your honesty. It takes courage. Elena continued. I was afraid and lost. But I want to make things right. Mina watched as Robert and Elena spoke honestly for the first time. The walls between them began to crumble. After the meeting, Mina felt a sense of relief. The fight was not over, but a new chapter had begun. That night, Mina dreamed of a peaceful house filled with laughter, not secrets. But the next morning, Mina found a note slipped under her door. It was unsigned. Not everyone wants peace. Watch your back. Mina's heart tightened. Danger was still near. She told Robert and Daniel. They agreed to be more careful. Mina realized that trust was fragile, and the fight for truth was ongoing. But she was ready. Her silence was no longer only about hiding, it was about protecting. Mina knew that sometimes, the strongest voice is the quiet one that watches and waits for the right moment. And she would be ready when that moment came. The days after the threatening note felt different to Mina. The quiet danger hung in the air like a dark cloud. But Mina was no longer afraid. She had learned that courage was not always loud and bold, it was often quiet, steady, and strong. Robert trusted Mina completely now. He saw her not just as a maid, but as someone who cared deeply for the house and everyone in it. Daniel stayed by Robert's side, helping to protect the company and gather the last pieces of evidence they needed. Mina kept doing her work with care and attention. She watched Elena closely, too. Since the meeting, Elena's anger had softened, but the tension in her eyes remained. Trust was slow to grow, and everyone knew that. One evening, as the sun set behind the tall trees, Mina was in the garden, cleaning the path. The air was calm, but Mina's heart was alert. She knew the silence might break at any moment. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned quickly and saw Elena standing there. Elena, Mina said softly. Are you all right? Elena looked at Mina and nodded. I want to thank you. Mina was surprised. For what? For being brave. You protected this house even when it was hard. I was wrong to plan against Robert. Now, I want to help. Mina smiled gently. It takes courage to say that. We all make mistakes, but it's how we fix them that matters. Elena looked at Mina with something like hope in her eyes. Will you forgive me someday? Mina nodded. I believe you can change. That is the first step. Their moment was interrupted by a noise from the house. Mina and Elena hurried inside. Robert was waiting in the study, a serious look on his face. We received a call, Robert said. Someone tried to damage the company's files today. Mina felt a cold wave of fear. The danger was still very real. We must act fast, Robert continued. Elena, I need your help to find who is behind this. Elena agreed without hesitation. I want to make things right. Together, they formed a plan. Mina would watch for anything unusual. Daniel would check the company's security. Robert and Elena would work together to stop the threat. Days passed in a mix of tension and hope. Mina stayed alert, her eyes and ears open for any sign of trouble. One night, Mina heard voices outside the house. She peeked through the window and saw two men talking quietly near the gate. She recognized one as the stranger, Daniel Dawson. The other was unknown. Mina's heart raced. She knew she had to tell Robert immediately. Robert listened carefully to her report. Thank you, Mina. You are our greatest protector. The next morning, Robert and Daniel met with the police quietly. They gave the evidence they had and asked for help. Elena also took part, promising to help find the truth. Weeks passed. Slowly, the threat was uncovered. The men behind the attacks were caught, and Robert's company was safe again. Mina felt a deep sense of relief. The house was peaceful once more. One afternoon, Robert called Mina to his office. "Mina," he said, "you have done more than any maid should. You saved this house, this company, and me. I want you to know that you are a part of this family now." Mina's eyes filled with tears. She had never felt so honored. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. Robert smiled warmly. "You taught me that courage is not about power or money. It is about loyalty, honesty, and kindness." Mina smiled back. "And silence can speak louder than words." Elena joined them then, her face softer and kinder. "I am sorry for all the pain I caused," she said. "Thank you, Mina, for showing me the right way." Mina nodded. "We all have the power to change." The house, once filled with secrets and shadows, now felt warm and full of hope. Mina looked around and knew her journey was not just about saving Robert or the company. It was about finding her own strength, her own voice. She was no longer just a poor maid. She was a guardian of truth, a keeper of silence, and a symbol of quiet courage. And in her heart, she knew she would always protect those she cared about. As the sun set behind the mansion, Mina stood by the window, watching the sky turn orange and pink. She whispered softly, "Don't talk, but always listen. Don't hide, but always watch. Because sometimes, silence is the strongest voice we have." And with that, Mina smiled, ready for whatever life would bring next.